What is going on, YouTube? PPS here. It is past the prop. We're coming at you guys for this absolutely massive day today in the MLB market. I believe we have every game but one starting in about 4 hours or so. So we got a little bit of time. We're able to do it a little bit later today. I'm joined as always by my guy Stu. How you doing, man?
Yeah, I'm doing good. Like you said, we finally have a little bit of free time on a Wednesday. It's normally you got the 1 o'clock, the 12 o'clock, 2 o'clock. Thankfully, like you said, we only do have that one game kicking off right about now. So plenty of time to get a lot of action in for today's slate. So yeah, super pumped. Seen a lot of good plays on the slate already. Super excited for what we both got today. And yeah, ready to keep that momentum going.
Yeah, no, it's a little different, on a Wednesday. Obviously, I had to work this morning, but outside of that, I'm usually up at 8 a.m. ready to, get right on the screen and give me a little bit. I get to wake up a little bit. Don't have the bags under my eyes. I'm ready to roll. So, yeah, huge slate, fun slate. I mean, there's a lot of good games, a lot of shitty games too. A lot of games with some pretty big spreads. But let's go through our recap from last show. We will get to that, and then we will pop on over to our favorite game of today's slate. We'll get switched on over. I got the good old fucking reverse sweep last time. Logan Webb, 11 strikeouts. Dude absolutely dominated that game. He went fucking berserk, like crazy. I can't believe he didn't get it. They let him go back out there. 95 pitches. I guess sometimes it works in your favor, sometimes it doesn't. And then he went out and gave up 2 singles. I'm like, dude, I can't believe they ran him back out there. I was trusting in that bullpen to get it done for us. But they rolled him out for 95 pitches, gave up 2 singles, and bullpen allowed him to score and just tie it up. So should have just taken 10 Ks. Jesus Christ, it was like plus 500.
Yeah, no, this was a rough one. It's always terrible to see your guy absolutely kill and just not in the freaking bet you made. You know what I mean? It's like any other bet you make, he probably cashes except this one in that game. So that's how it is.
I know he hit, right?
Yep, Candelario got the job done for us as usual. Shout out Washington. Let's go. And then this one was the one that missed. This is the one he had, 6 at bats, first at bat single, and then just nothing for the rest of the game. So, god damn it.
Yeah, dude, I'm kind of pissed too because I had Michaelis. He gave up 4 hits in 2 innings and then went no the last 5 innings. Thank God. Hopefully, you guys follow the show enough to know when Wainwright goes out there, you take his over. And, dude, I think I bet 5 different bets in that game on Wainwright hits, Sanchez homer, Miami first 5 run line. Dude, I just absolutely unloaded after Michaelis just decided he was going to be good for the second half there. So it was wild. Dude, he got lit up to start. I'm like, what the hell, dude? Then all of a sudden I look and he's in the 7th inning and just shoving on him. And then I talked about his walks. 3 walks, bro. Like, what the hell? Like, it was literally stuff we talked about, and it didn't come through for us. But let's take a look at the chat here, and we will get it going here. We got Jay, first one in there. Hope you guys are doing well. Steve, hope all is well, my friend. We got Terrence in here, as always, Vandy Man. And, oh, God, Jesus Christ. I don't know. Detroit, dude, that's ugly, man. I mean, toilet bowl, I guess, right? Oakland A's versus Detroit. That's going to be – I'm assuming it's not going to make your favorite game of the day, is it?
No, especially not what didn't he go 1-0 the other night as well? I believe was the final.
JP Sears, baby. I had the first 5 run line with JP Sears because the dude's been a beast for me.
Yeah, no, I had the Rogers home run in that one, and he hit warning track first at bat, and then nothing for the rest of the game, like nobody, So I feel bad for the 14 people that were watching that game because it did not seem like a fun one.
All right, Stu, kick us off. We got 25 people in here in the first 4 minutes. We appreciate you guys popping in. What game are you looking at today? What's on the docket for your favorite spot?
Yeah, mine's really easy today, actually. And it's Red Sox Rangers. One, because I think watching Bello pitch has been very fun. Gray's obviously been very consistent. But the surprising thing to me, I think this was probably my favorite game before anything. But when I looked at the lines, the total was 10 last night. That's what it opened at. It opened at 10 in a Bello versus Gray matchup of 2 very, very solid starting pitchers. So that kind of threw me off a little bit. I was expecting maybe a 9 even, maybe a 9.5 beyond that. So seeing the kind of extended total with 2 pitchers that I like on the mound definitely gave me some almost suspicion, and I want to know what the sports books are seeing. So I'm definitely going to be tuned into that one tonight.
I mean, this is probably the best place to hit at right now. If it's going to be that hot in Fenway, you have how much power in this game from the Rangers side. Obviously, the best team against right-handed pitching, and John Gray has struggled a little bit lately
On
uh,
the road too,
on
right?
the
Yeah.
road.
Yeah.
So that's it. I mean, that's the only thing. It's just going to be hot as hell out there. How hot is it on the East Coast right now?
Yeah, it's 90s for sure. Consistent 90s across everywhere. It's what 88 when I went out a couple minutes ago here. So yeah, it'll be especially by game time.
Yeah, and I'm gonna kind of get in that same boat because I have a game that I like better. It's actually the Nationals game that I do like. But my favorite one that I'm gonna put in here is gonna be the end of that same thing. Why the Mets right now? They are minus 105. They're the dog in Arizona. Kind of scares me, man. Right? You got Kodai Senga, who's been very good. He's been way better at home. I've documented that on the show here a few times. But Tommy Henry really is going to give you a minus 115 target on the Diamondbacks. I get it. The Diamondbacks are nice, dude. They hit bombs. They got such a good offense. But I was just not expecting to see New York as underdogs in this one. They ended up opening up at minus 165, bet down 60 cents already. That's a pretty drastic line movement. I'm not sure if there's like some sort of injury or something coming through, but just seems a little bit fishy to me.
Yeah, I think fishy is a great word, right? I mean, you just look at the starting pitchers even before going any deeper, and you're kind of like Henry hasn't been bad. It's not like he's an awful starting pitcher or anything like that, but maybe not enough for you to want to actually take them over Senga in that game. So I agree. I definitely noticed a couple lines that were a little bit maybe different than what I might have expected with them. But yeah, I'll definitely be tuned into that game tonight.
Beautiful, beautiful. And I guess we can get it rolling. If you guys got any questions, make sure you drop them in the chat. We appreciate to see all you guys in here early and often with us here. We got Brian popping in the chat. Saddens me as a Detroit dude. Everybody knows my disdain with Detroit now. So they will for the rest of the year be my most hated team. I hope they lose every game for the rest of the season. So yeah, ever since their weatherman decided to cancel that game and cost me some money, they're dead to me. And let's go A's, baby. Even though I think I bet on them already this morning. Tigers. Oh shit. Hopefully they lose like 9-10 today. That'd be awesome. All right, let's get it rolling here, Stu. I'll kick it over to you to start us off here in our first play of the day.
Sounds good. We're going with a Brandon Belt hit. Parlay that with Beto to not record a win for the Pirates, and that's minus 108 over on DraftKings Sportsbook. We'll start out with Brandon Belt. That's obviously the majority of this play, sitting at minus 170 on about every single sportsbook right here. And who do we have him against? We have him against a guy who cannot get a left-handed batter out to save his life in Lance Lynn, who's allowing a 355 opponent batting average to left-handed hitters on the season, along with the 655 slugging. Good news for Brandon Belt right here is he actually does have some very good career history, 7 for 18 in his past, hitting, 398 in that matchup. And you got to remember the context. That's against good Lance Lynn, right? Lance Lynn has pretty much recorded his career worst in ERA, expected slugging, hard hit percentage, all of those advanced stats, right? This is by far Lance Lynn's worst season. So it is good to see that Brandon Belt is actually having some pretty good success against him when he was the better version of himself. But now there's really nothing that leads me to believe that Belt's not going to have success right here. Hitting 270 on the season against right-handed pitching. It's one of those situations where he's only coming in to face righties, right? He's only coming in to, get in these advantageous spots against left-handed or against right-handed pitchers who can't get lefties out. And that's the only time I want to play Brandon Belt. The good news about that is they always move him up to like number 4 or 5 in the lineup. So you get amazing protection in these matchups as well, right? Because you have Chapman, you have Varsho, even the back of this lineup is so stacked. Kirk, all these different guys that you're not really going to see him walk too much, or pitchers aren't going to try to. He's obviously a good walk candidate in general. He does walk a fair amount, but the more point is I think the protection around him is going to prevent that a little bit right here. So I play Belt in very specific instances. It is solely against right-handed pitchers who can't get a lefty out to save their their life. They constantly move them up in this order in those kind of situations. And I think this is a great example of that right here. As for Beto, he was the most clear no-win pick on the slate, with the Pirates being the biggest underdogs on the slate right here. I believe they're plus 230 or something crazy like that on today's slate. Who knows? Maybe even we see one of those spreads that's like 2.5 or something crazy like that. But Bobby Miller has been very good, 4-1 on the season so far. We're seeing some of those Dodgers back of the lineup guys finally heat up. Outman, who was called up and had that terrible stretch, is finally getting going. Peralta's been doing good for me. A lot of these guys are finally kicking it up a notch, as opposed to Mookie Betts, who's always Mookie Betts. So trust the Dodgers to get the job done. Vito's only made it over 4 innings twice, every young guy. Not a lot of faith right there. I think both these guys get the job done here.
Beautiful. Love that spot. Love it. And I'm going to go to your team here. I'm going Reds Nationals first 5 over 5.5. It's mentioned already today. It is hot as hell out there. Another nice ballpark pal looking nice. We're not seeing any reds over there, right? We're seeing a nice little green spot for power, for doubles, everything, right? What I do want to touch on is a little bit. Let's talk about Ashcraft first. I know you're not going to want to hear me talk about Gray, but it's all right. We got Graham Ashcraft, obviously, for the Reds. Really, really struggling this year in terms of expected batting average, K percentage. I mean, the dude is not striking anybody out. Only a 17% K rate. His walk rate has almost doubled this year. It's up to 9%, right? Last year he was getting a lot of love, but he's throwing hard, doesn't strike guys out, and he's walking dudes. So obviously that's not something you want to do, especially when you're at home. But now they're obviously in Washington. Does play up a little bit of power out there, as Stu will know by why all of their pitchers' ERAs are inflated over there. So when we look at Ashcraft, though, barrel percentage is way higher than I expected it to be for a guy who's literally just throwing sinkers and cutters. It's sitting at about a 7.6% barrel rate. He was at 4.8% last year, right? So you're giving up a ton of hard contact. You're putting extra guys on base. You're giving up a 284 batting average to lefties, 293 to righties, almost 500 slugging to both sides, right? So it's not like we have to worry like how the Nationals have struggled versus righties, and they're obviously way better versus lefties. But this guy can't get either side of the plate out. If he was good against like right-handed batters, I would be a little bit more concerned on this play. But he's not getting anybody out really. He's giving up a ton of contact, ton of hard contact, and also not going as deep in games. That was something that he was really good at last year. Then you go to the National side, obviously Josiah Gray, all-star Josiah Gray. I'm looking at this, and again, we brought this up last year. When he pitches at home, he's dog. He pitches on the road, he's good. Dude, it's like a 2.3 road ERA this year. That's phenomenal. Obviously, very good. Over a 5 at home so far this year. The slugging is over 500. On-base percentage at almost 375, right? So he's struggling at obviously keeping the ball in the zone, which is something you really don't want to see. 18 walks in 31 innings. You're going to give extra guys on base to this team with the amount of power that they have from both sides of the plate, but specifically from the left side with the addition of this lineup is so stacked now. It's so deep with McClain. Obviously, you got De La Cruz, Fraley, and Friedel both playing very, very well. Now you just throw Spencer Steer in the 7, Stevenson in the 8, right? Votto's batting 6. Like, this is crazy. This lineup is loaded. I have backed Gray this year in specific spots, but with a 504 slugging at home to the right side, 462 slugging, he's almost flipped the script from last year where he couldn't get a lefty out. Now he can't get a righty out with power, dude. This is scary when you're going to see quite a few guys from the right side with Pop and Steer and McClain. You got so much speed with a guy you can't hold the guy on base. You're just going to get free dudes on second. This just kind of adds up both sides. I like both team totals, so I might as well play the full game or first 5 over.
Yeah, I've been sitting over here thinking how am I going to counter this? How am I going to support my Nationals? How am I going to support Josiah Gray? But the truth is, I actually do like this play a lot. We talked a little bit before the show, and I told PPS I spent 30 minutes last night trying to find a good bet on Josiah Gray, and the numbers really weren't supporting it. It's exactly like you said, and we all know this. He sucks at home. I mean, he just gets absolutely destroyed. It was insane last year as well. It was another sub 2.5 ERA last season on the road versus, over 3.5 or over 4 at home. So it's the power, it's the heat, it's how good that Reds lineup is. 20-6 since Ellie De La Cruz was called up. They're absolutely crushing us. They did me a lot of good last game against Patrick Corbin. I feel it in my heart. I feel it in my heart that the Nationals are going to win this one. I really do. I really feel like Josiah Gray is going to go out there and shove, and it makes no sense. You wouldn't think this matchup, right? Because like you said, it's really bad for him, and especially when you look at the Red stats against some of those pitches, right? The four-seam fastball is the main one that's getting absolutely destroyed, and if you're throwing it 40% of the time against a lineup that's just absolutely raking right now, that's not a strategy for success. That being said, everyone said the same thing last week. The only difference, he was on the road against Philly. But to be fair, he had an absolutely awful history against almost every single one of those top 5 batters in the Phillies lineup in terms of power. And he still ended up going in and shoving then. He's been declared an all-star for the first time. I will be betting the Nationals money line. I've already done that. It's in my heart. I gotta trust it. I didn't have a dream about this one, so we don't have the dream narrative right here. I'm 0-1 on dream narrative plays on the show, but I do believe it. It's in my heart. So I'm going to be tailing you on this one just in case my Nats money line loses. But you guys need to know the Nats are going to win tonight.
Hey, they can win 11-10. That's all I care about, man. Hey, that's fine by me. One thing I did want to mention too is Josiah Gray started out the year very, very well, right? He had a 2.6 ERA in March and April, 2.8 in May, and then we just saw a balloon up to like a 4.3 last month. So again, this is everybody says All-Star breaks the halfway point. It's not the halfway point. The halfway point is probably happened already, right? I mean, it's pretty damn close to happened already. So we're getting to the end here where you start seeing guys run out of gas a little bit. And that's just something else to point out there because he started out fantastic, almost sub 3 xFIP, literally everything. The dude was insane to start the year. So just saw a little bit of regression happening there in June. Could definitely see it maybe happening in one of these last couple starts before the All-Star break. Just something else to point out just because I know everybody kind of thinks that that is the halfway point. It's not. It's not even close. It's like 20 games past. So just something to bring up there. I like this look. I really do. I think that's a great look. Really curious why that is plus money. I would. What book is that on? If you could drop that, that would be well appreciated, Vandy man. Sue, are you gonna play Seager at all today?
I mean, I think Seager's in an interesting spot. I don't think I'm going to play him, but I will say it's almost like you can't play the hits, runs, RBIs most of the time at this point. They've kind of priced that to an impossible rate. It might be a little better today with the matchup, but I think if you want to go anywhere, I think it's got to be total bases, right? You're probably getting a pretty good price on that with how good he's been on the other side. So if you can get that near plus money, I can't really complain at that.
Perfect. Bet365. I don't have access to that one on myself. So that'd be why I can't bet that one. But definitely a look. I definitely like that if you do have Bet365. That would be my choice of game for an alt total. I should have brought that up and made that my long shot last show because we talked about that, and that thing hit 18 fucking runs in the first 5 innings, which was pretty nice. As I think I bet it 3 different ways again in that one, but in that Rangers-Astros game. But no, definitely. That would definitely be my pick. Probably up to 7.5. I don't know if I'd go higher. I don't know if I don't like Gray today, but I don't think he's that bad. I backed up too much for me to talk too much shit on my man here. So, yeah, I'd probably go up to 7.5. 7.5 would probably be my max one that I bet, and that's a good price too. So, Stu, we're on to plays number 3 and 4. We got 30 of you guys in here. We appreciate you guys. Hit that like button if you could. We're coming on to place 2 for each of us here. Both kind of correlated. So, again, we don't talk prior to the show, but this is definitely one that I do like.
Sounds good. We're going to Cal Quantrill over 5.5 hits allowed -140 on BetMGM. And, you said ours are kind of correlated. You're going to talk about a batter in a second. And for me, it was one of those situations that I've said multiple times where it's like when you want to bet 4, 5, or 6 batters in a lineup, it's time to just shift and fade the pitcher, right? And that was kind of my case. I'm looking at all these guys. I'm looking at how their numbers line up versus these sinker-cutter combos. And I'm like, I want to play Acuna. Albies is on fire right now. I want to play Albies. Oh, Austin Riley has great splits. And obviously Matt Olson is going to be the leader in odds to hit the home run on every slate this season so far. So it's one of those situations where there are just so many guys that I liked in this matchup that I ended up turn it over and fade Quantrill. I think over 5.5 hits allowed was my favorite way to do that right here. He's hit this number in 9 of 12 games this season. He's given up 8 hits in back-to-back matchups. The guy is really, really struggling to make it even out of the 5th inning at this point. And this is a guy that we were consistently backing last year. But when you look at those numbers too, the advanced stats were always a bit lower on Quantrill than the regular stats were because he's a guy that doesn't miss barrels. That's something you talk about on here all the time. Or, well, he tries to miss barrels. He doesn't miss bats at all, though, right? He's a contact pitcher. He doesn't strike people out. We love the 5% walk rate he has so far this year because he's not going to be walking too many batters. We'll get a lot of opportunities right here. I love the hit rate on the season. His zone contact at 89% is the worst he's had in his whole career, and it's a decent amount worse too when we look at it. Guys are getting the bat on the ball, they're taking advantage, and he's just not missing anything. Every 4th percentile XBA, 7th percentile X slugging, all of these numbers are absolutely atrocious right now. I don't really see any reason why Cal Quantrill would be able to suddenly turn that around against the most stacked lineup in baseball. It's a tough spot. I think he'll get it going eventually. I don't actually think he is this bad, but I do think that this is a great spot for him to get crushed today.
What are we going to do with a guy who strikes out 8% of right-handed batters? Like, that's what I'm saying, and that's what's going to be happening here. So I'm going with Acuna specifically. The only reason I am doing this one as well is because Cal Quantrill does have the highest walk rate he's had of his entire career this year at almost 8%. This kind of scares me off, but he's going to swipe the base, right? It's automatic. He's getting there. You have dudes behind him that absolutely rake. But you have from the right side, right, you're going to be seeing Murphy. You're going to see Riley, right? You're going to see all these other dudes, Marcelo Ozuna, right? All these dudes from the right side, and you can't miss bats on him. Obviously throwing a lot of cutters and stuff like that, trying to miss barrels. But even then, he's got an expected ERA of 6, right? An expected batting average at almost 300, and expected WOBA at almost 400, right? And you're going with probably, if not the best hitter, number 2, right? This dude is literally unreal, like absolutely unreal. Doesn't chase. Expected batting, he's in the top percentile, 100th percentile in average exit velocity, WOBA, expected batting average, expected slugging. This dude is just putting barrels on baseballs, and for a guy who's not going to miss his bat, the dude has a 12% K rate on his own against a guy who has an 8% K rate. So you're telling me a dude who's finding a barrel as often as he is, which is almost 16%. Like, that is unbelievable. This dude is so fucking good. It's like crazy. It's like you don't see this much red on a Baseball Savant page ever, right? This is like DeGrom when he was DeGrom, man. Like when he was the best. That's how red this is right now. And the dude smokes everything. We talked about the sinker a little bit there, and the cutter that he's going to want to use. 517 slugging against the sinker. He's got a 695 slugging against the four-seamer. Like, this dude is a cheat code right now. And you're going to be rolling it with a team with a 6 implied total. My God, dude. He's going to have guys on base. Like, the bottom of this order is Michael Harris, right? Orlando Arcia is over 300, right? This bottom of the order is going to be on base. Just all those opportunities to know he's going to steal every single time he is on first base. Unfortunately, a lot of the times he's on second base, which isn't bad because he's hitting doubles and extra base hits. But it's hard for me to get away from this. I understand giving me not plus odds on a 2.5 is crazy. Like, I never do it, but I can't talk myself off of Acuna today. And I am about to, I'm going to throw. He's got to be in everything I put. Everything.
Yeah. I can't hate on this at all. And I do think I've almost had the same problem too, where I've kind of been resistant to play the 2.5 a little bit more just because it's a scarier number. It's just a point higher, right? But when you get these elite guys, right, I feel like I almost always feel regret when I don't play them and I pivot to something else. Because like you said, even if he is getting walked, the stolen base, the run equity is so high with such a stacked lineup right here. And even like you said, the RBI chances too. Michael Harris started out the season, 198 the first 2 months. And now the guy's a 300 hitter again, just like last season over these last month or so. So it's one of those situations where it's absolutely stacked lineup. I agree. It's hard to miss the Braves today, and I think Acuna is a great way to do it. So I'll definitely be sprinkling on this and, maybe get a little home run, maybe get a little, a double stolen base. Who knows?
Yeah, it's tough because I really want to play the total in this one. I think that this is a good total to attack. I don't see Soroka having as much success as he had last time. And the Guardians are kind of playing. They're kind of actually playing some baseball now.
Finally.
On the offensive side. Only an 18% K rate against righties so far this year. That is dead last in the MLB. Like, this team is tough. And I think that this is going to be an interesting spot. I like both sides offensively here. I think a lot of people are going to be too high on the Braves, and I'm not saying that they're not going to just put up an absolute offensive smash spot, but I think that the Guardians kind of get to them, and I think this turns into one of those shootouts where we want to definitely be on the offensive side of these games.
Completely agree. I'm glad we're both obviously on the same page. I feel like that's been happening a decent amount recently, which gives me some reassurance that like I'm on the same page, you know. So definitely like this spot right here. And yeah, hopefully the Braves just absolutely crush today.
Beautiful. Books knew about Yonner. I think he just hit one, didn't he? Did he just hit a dinger in that game? Yeah, dude, he's so good, bro. He's so good. That just makes the Astros so tough because you're getting a free out in Martin Maldonado, right? Like that was your free out. You don't get that anymore. Now you have a guy batting 270 with pop. So I've been seeing mid hitters get a 2.5 number, and they typically dominate. I think dude. I think they can't give you 1.5 because then everybody in the world will parlay that shit. Like why if they gave me Acuna at 1.5 at like minus 200, that's immediately getting paired with the Dodgers or something. You know, like it's immediately gone.
Yeah, but they haven't even ever done that. He's talking about bad players now. Not bad players, but like legitimate mid-tier players. You know what I mean? Like Acuna, at least he's a good player. You expect 2.5. Now I'm seeing 2.5s on like Candelario and like, you know, guys that are like, so, you know, I don't know. It's just one of those things. In my Discord, I had a big thing the other day. I wanted to play Spencer Steer hits, runs, RBIs, and it opened at 2.5. And I saw it at 1.5 minus 110 the day before. And I was like, come on. Like the 7-hitter is getting that today? Really? But they're catching up.
Didn't he hit a nuke?
He did.
Yeah.
Of course. That's literally what I was saying about regretting earlier. That's exactly what I was referencing earlier.
I played 2.5 yesterday at plus 130 on Jose Abreu. And he ended up fucking me on my team total by striking out with bases loaded. When Kyle Tucker, Abreu, Bregman, all three of them, 2 pop-ups and a K. And I needed 1 run. And Abreu had the bases loaded. He had guys on third base. He had an opportunity to score a run. The Astros just, fucked it all up. But, yeah, I mean, they're giving 2.5. So I don't mind playing 2.5. Like, it's not as big of a deal as I thought it would be initially when I saw them. But we're getting there. We're being a little more open to these new markets and new options. Especially when they're giving you like plus 120s. I take that all day over a 1.5 at like minus 160. You know, it's like then you have to have something else completely happen. You know, I'd rather just take that.
Completely agree.
All right, Sue, let's get to a recap. Do you have a long shot today?
I do have a long shot.
All right, let's get it going here. I'll kick it over to you for your recap.
Sounds good. We started out with a Brandon Belt hit. We paired that up with Beto of the Pirates to not record a win. That is minus 108 over on DraftKings right now. Then we went Cal Quantrill over 5.5 hits allowed. That's minus 140 over on BetMGM.
Perfect. And I'll be on Acuna over 2.5 hits, runs, RBIs at minus 120. In the Nationals, first 5 over 5.5 at minus 104. Stu, you didn't tell me prior, so I gotta hear it now. What is your long shot for today?
We're going, this is ridiculous, by the way, not in price, in that the price is this bad, but we're going Ellie De La Cruz and Esteury Ruiz to both steal a base, and that is plus 460 right now, because both of these guys are legitimately plus 120 to plus 140 to steal a base, which is absolutely insane, and not even a number I saw once last year, and I bet the stolen base market a lot, but it does make a lot of sense. Ellie De La Cruz, I think, is my favorite stolen base on the slot. I might even play this solo at plus 140, even though that'll crush my soul. Washington, oh my God, we can't throw out a guy to save our life this year. Do you know how fucking annoying that is? That every guy that gets on first base gets an automatic free pass to second base. And Ellie De La Cruz is running every time he gets to first base because he's absolutely a monster right now. So love that right there. He's not facing a lefty. I really only avoid Ellie when he's facing a lefty, although that did change with the 4-for-4 against Corbin. And then Ruiz stolen base. Shout out Ruiz. Cashed my season-long steals already, hitting a lot better against left-handed pitching so far this year, which obviously does increase his chances of getting on base. I'm not too scared about a lefty. I think that's actually getting our price a little bit better right here because, like we've kind of talked about before, Ruiz is so insanely fast. He's going on that first step really no matter what. So also, neither of these guys are very fast to the plate at all. Josiah Gray's throwing a lot of curveballs, and Ruiz is Rodriguez Erod is a guy that is not fast to the plate whatsoever. So like this spot right here, I think both these guys get the job done. And this one might even be me worth going out to Virginia to play it on Bet365 to get it at like 800 because I'm sure that's what it is there if any of you guys have Bet365.
Okay, guys. Okay, I like that. I do like that. Sorry, Paul, we will get to yours there. I'm going to do something I haven't done on here before because we got to make it a little bit more fun for you guys. You guys have been knowing, you're doing your alt totals and shit. You're doing these stolen bases, all this weird shit. But I will be doing alternate run lines today. And I'm going to be going with probably the two easiest ones to pick out for the first five. I got to make sure I can type this up right because it's going to be weird. But I'm going to do the Braves. This is for first five. Both these first five. Braves, Dodgers, first five. Actually, it's 11:09 here. I think this is going to be an absolute shit show, dude. If you allow the Brewers to score 5 runs off you with no Ks, what the hell do you think the Dodgers are going to do to you, dude? They're going to eat you for lunch and spit you out. Like, this is going to be bad. Vito's going to get absolutely smashed around. We just talked about at length Cal Quantrill and his inability to strike guys out. The only thing I'm worried about is that like the Braves are going to give up some runs, and I wanted to bet the total, but to bet the total to get to this number, I'd have to bet like 7.5 to get to the number that I'm getting the Braves at here. I think the Braves team total at 6 is pretty light. I would probably put it at 6.5. So I'm going to be back in this one. I think Soroka can do enough, maybe 2 runs, but to think that I'm not going to get 6 runs out of the Braves today and get almost 11-1 odds, I kind of have to roll this one. And Bobby Miller, I love Bobby Miller, man. I've been like what I've been seeing from him, and hope he continues there. 11-1 odds on probably the 2 biggest favorites in my opinion to roll here. So definitely a spot I want to go with instead of trying to back Bobby Miller to win strikeouts and only get 4.
Yeah, no, that was a little bit annoying right there, but I do like this one. I've been meaning to get some exposure to the Braves right here in the first 5 as well, even after my Quantrill play. I mean, the biggest thing I was worried about is Quantrill hit a 9 of 12. In his like 3 misses, he still gave up like 3 earned runs. He got pulled too early for the hits allowed. So this is kind of a way for me to get some exposure to those runs, even if, Cal gets pulled really early. Also, that bullpen is very fucked up. So it could just be one of those games where they just commit to the long reliever very, very early in that one and maybe almost not throwing the towel, but, 4th inning, down a couple runs, you're bringing in the gas can. So definitely like this spot right here, Obi Town. We've had some good luck with these first 5 so far.
Yeah, no, and what you mentioned with the bullpen, like they lost, right? They ended up blowing the game. So all of their high leverage dudes had to throw, right? It's not like they didn't throw their high leverage dudes because they came back, right? Everybody threw. So I think that's something that's important too. Maybe late in the game, if you're a live betting guy, that might be a spot to look at because you might be seeing instead of Class A, you're going to see, what is it, Kanonchuk, that weird dude who throws.
Yeah, I don't know how to pronounce that.
Kalinchuk or something like that, whatever how you say it. But yeah, I mean, you might see guys like that, or you might see De Los Santos, stuff like that. Like instead of a guy throwing a 100-mile-an-hour cutter. So definitely a big step down, but just a heads up for guys that might be in that live betting market towards the end there. So Terrence doing what Terrence does. Ruiz, Ellie stolen base plus the Braves and the Dodgers first 5 minus 3.5, almost 60-1, man. Almost 60-1. I mean, like I said, I've spent more money on worse. I spent $10 on worse. 600, get $600 for that, and stuff that obviously isn't too far fetched with how these MLB games have turned into blowouts recently. So definitely a spot I like. Stu, what do you got for the people before we head out here? 30 minutes in. We still got 30 of you guys in here. We appreciate you guys. What do you got for them?
Yeah, no, MLB has been going very well recently, so you obviously can expect my odds checker articles to be up a little bit later today. Have the first one written already. Definitely going to head to the second one right after this right here. Also, I'll be doing my BMR daily plays over there as well. Might get a video from me if I'm feeling lucky. If the time isn't there, then just a little write up. But a couple more plays coming for me for the MLB, so make sure to be on the lookout for that. And yeah, just ready to keep on trucking right here.
I love it. I love it. I don't know about you, man, but the timing today looks like we've been getting a lot more of you guys in here. I'm going to get to Steve's right now, or Paul's right now, bringing up Erod's strikeouts. I know I haven't seen him recently. I don't know if he's got a pitch limit coming back. I haven't seen him throwing in a couple weeks, or at least I don't think I've seen any of the Tigers games. But yeah, A's suck against lefties. They're second worst. Only my Brewers being worse. So don't mind that. I think I would do exactly what you were saying here and do the plus money ones versus me trying to hope for that 5 strikeouts and get that little juice on there. So definitely like that plus money spot. If he's rolling, obviously they'll let him go. But just something I haven't seen him throw in a couple weeks here. So maybe he's got a pitch count limit. But at least we have the plus money there to help us out. But yeah, we have a lot of stuff on the slate here. Obviously, we'll be back Friday. We'll give you guys a heads up on when that'll be. Usually we're around noon on those days, but you never know. Stuff comes up. So make sure you follow both of us on Twitter. Have those notifications on. We'll have some free plays. We'll have more out there. But we appreciate all you guys tuning in. Hit that like button on the way out. And if you're just getting here, make sure you check about 3 minutes ago. We did our recap there, so you guys can check it out. So have a good one, guys. Got any other questions, put them in the chat after. We'll be able to get to them. So have a good one. Peace. We'll see you guys on Friday.